paper route. This is day 4, I believe, streaming live on YouTube. Yes, Ashley Nicole Moss, she invested a lot of money into her education to be a sports journalist, potentially political science, going on CNN, and now she's on YouTube. So I know mom and dad is at home watching. Your daughter is awesome, and hopefully she's making you proud. I know growing up, her saying, I'm going to be a YouTuber, mom and dad. I know you guys are like, what the hell are you talking about? Why wouldn't you go to CNN? Why wouldn't you go doing to one of these other networks? But she's a YouTuber. My name is Brandon Marshall, and I played in the NFL for 13 years, and I'm a YouTuber now. But Ashley, we have a lot today.
We
right?
do.
We have.
Stop calling me a YouTuber.
You're a YouTuber.
I'm not a YouTuber.
You're a YouTuber.
Stop calling me that.
Corey, our young gun producer. You're
Corey
a YouTuber.
Corey in the cut. Yep.
Corey in the cut.
AKA the third Curry brother.
The third Curry brother. Yeah, we'll go with it.
So listen, you had KD last night. Did you guys watch?
Of course I watched.
I did, yeah.
Did you watch?
I watched. There's so much going on. You got Lamar Jackson in the news again. You have, to me, a story that's not around Nikola Jokic and the MVP, but a story around J.J. Redick and Kendrick Perkins. I love what's happening there. I love the banter.
Yeah.
And I think it's deeper than what we're thinking. I think it's more than entertainment, but we'll dive into that later. We also have Factor Foolish coming back up, so a bunch of things there. Dame Lillard, the scoring title. You got, some Patrick Mahomes banter. You got some more football banter. But first, Corey, what we're doing.
Right,
what are we doing? Let me get right before Ashley's mom texts in the show and correct us.
All right, so look, we're actually going to start with the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson saga, right? It continues, but actually headed in the right direction, right? So according to Andrew Dixon of the Score app, the Baltimore Ravens general manager, Eric DeCosta, said he's optimistic that they'll get a deal done before the March 7th deadline, right? That'll be the last day in which they can franchise tag Lamar Jackson. So yesterday, while speaking to the media at the Combine, DeCosta acknowledged that living in a world without a quarterback is just not a good world to live in. And then actually head coach Jim Harbaugh added that he's thought, and I quote, as little as possible about a future without Lamar Jackson, right? But, the general manager, he also, added too that he admitted that the team will have to improve at wide receiver, right? So that's where I want to start, guys, right? Like, regardless of what happens with Lamar Jackson, what will the Ravens need to do to become contenders? Because Lamar Jackson, he don't have that much help, right? So, again, if Lamar Jackson stays there, all right, well, cool. Like, what are the Ravens, even with Lamar Jackson? Yeah.
Great question. Why are you over there falling asleep?
I'm not sleeping. I was making that sound where it's like, the Ravens were, since we use relationship analogies on this show, I'm going to dive into one right now. We're going to kick things off with a relationship analogy. The Ravens are like that guy that you date and is constantly doing things to like mess up, right? And he's like, baby, I'll change. I'm going to get it together. I'm going to do better. And you keep giving him an opportunity to show that like he can change, but he just keeps doing the same thing. The Ravens keep saying the same things. I can't imagine life without a quarterback, and Lamar Jackson's our guy, and we're going to have a deal done by this date. And when is it actually going to happen? You know what I mean? Like, when are you actually going to change? When are you actually going to make sure that your words and your actions meet? We are very much aware that you cannot win in the NFL without a franchise quarterback. We are very much aware that Lamar Jackson is your guy. Are you aware of that? Because the way that you guys have been maneuvering makes me feel like you think that you can replace him. You think that you don't need him. You think that life can exist without him, and you're wrong. So while all this chit-chat and the rigmarole, as the word is.
Oh, let's stop this.
Listen, it sounds good, but I think most fans and probably Lamar and his camp are tired of hearing these accolades, tired of hearing people say, yes, Lamar's our guy. We're going to have a deal done by this date.
Right.
It all sounds good, but now is time to showcase that You mean it with action. And until you do, nothing else that you say matters.
So the question was, what do they need to win a Super Bowl? So what I hear
they need a quarterback.
So that's what I hear you saying.
They need Lamar Jackson.
Let's start there. Okay,
and other things. Let's make that very clear, because people are going to say, you can't just win with a quarterback. Yes, I know that. But you need, that is your first piece. And they're in the combine right now talking about drafting this person and this position and that position. They're literally putting the carriage before the horse.
Right.
That sounds great, but what use is a great wide receiver or an offensive line or a corner when you don't have a quarterback to go ahead and put points on the board? You're doing it in reverse. It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
And that's exactly what they just said. So let me peel back the layers a little bit more, right?
Okay.
So Tom Monken spent the last 3 years at the University of Georgia. They won back-to-back national championships. You can say this offense was efficient. This offense presented itself as a pro offense, a pro style. Because in college now, what they're doing is they're teaching these quarterbacks to drop back, read one side of the field. If this one guy do this, this is what you do, okay? If he does that, then you throw it here. Mm-hmm. It's simple football. That's why a lot of these guys are struggling. So I bring up Tom Monken because Tom Monken and Lamar Jackson, if they want to win a title, which that was your question, Corey, right? Mm-hmm. That chemistry and continuity needs to be amazing, right? And it's hard. We just saw Russell Wilson and you had Nathaniel Hackett come together and implode in year one. This story that an offensive coordinator and a quarterback can come together and just put up 30 points a game is ridiculous, because we look at like a Tom Brady. Remember, the first 12 weeks when Tom Brady got to Tampa Bay with Bruce Arians, they struggled. They were a mess. They looked terrible. And then they figured it out probably right around week 12, week 13. They start running the ball, and, of course, they play phenomenal defense all year. So it starts there. That's the first thing. Tom Monken and Lamar Jackson, they need to get this deal done, and they need to get together right away. But don't forget, Lamar had nothing to do with this hire. Mm-hmm. Usually when you're a franchise quarterback, you're the one that's sitting in that room interviewing these offensive coordinators as well.
We've already been shown multiple times that the Ravens don't value Lamar Jackson the way that they should. So that is not surprising to me.
Right. And the second thing, Ashley, is health. Because the Baltimore Ravens, they're not far off. They've been to contend. This is a really good organization. This is a well-run organization with Ozzie put in place through his entire tenure, and obviously he stepped away 2 years ago, but he's still there running the show from a higher standpoint. This is a really good organization. They contend every year. This is a dangerous team. So all they need, sign Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson and Tom Monken built this offense in a way that fits him, that fits the guys around them, and figure out what they're trying to do. Marcus Peters, Kyle Fuller, those are two corners that they need to be healthy and come back and play at a high level. If they do that, the Baltimore Ravens can find themselves in the Super Bowl. And the last thing, Ashley, they need to do something. The Baltimore Ravens need to do something they have never done before, okay? And that's pay a wide receiver. The Baltimore Ravens, you've never paid a wide receiver. Oh, well, Brandon, you got Steve Smith. We had Steve Smith. Steve Smith was done. Love Steve Smith. He's a Hall of Famer, but he was done. Well, Brandon, you don't remember the run with Joe Flacco and Anquan Bolden? No, he got him at the end of his career. He came in and balled, put up some Pro Bowl years, but he was done, and you got him for $8 million a year when the market was at 13, 14 for top-flight wide receivers. The Baltimore Ravens, their philosophy is defense, run the ball, don't pay wide receivers. There's a couple of guys out there that I like, Ashley. I like D-Hop. And I'm going to tell you why I like these guys in particular. I like D-Hop in this situation. And some people say, well, does D-Hop like this situation? I don't know. But if I'm D-Hop, I'm looking at this saying, this is where I want to go. OBJ, I love him in this situation. Well, Brandon, OBJ's coming off of back-to-back injuries. Can OBJ get his career back on track? Let's talk about it later. Jarvis Landry, I love Jarvis Landry in this situation. And I also love Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay, oh my goodness, the last 2 years was horrible. Oh my goodness, but I love that. So they need to go out there and they need to invest a shit ton of money in the wide receiver position. Why do I like D-Hop, Ashley? Because you're getting older, right? And D-Hop is one of my favorite wide receivers. And I would say in the right situation, we'll probably be talking about him next year as top 3 wide receiver again. He's that good. He's dynamic. He's special. But when you get older, right, you want help. You want a guy on the other side. You want to run a game that's going to be able to create, better matchups for you outside. Because if they're not running the ball, then they can now double you. They can now play cover 2. I want one-on-ones. You're going to get a one-on-one matchup if you have Lamar Jackson. And D-Hop, now he goes from averaging 12 yards a catch to 15, 16 yards a catch. So I like D-Hop in that situation if Lamar can utilize him the right way and if Tom Monken can utilize someone like that. I like OBJ as well. Why do I like OBJ in this situation? It's the same thing. What Lamar Jackson this team need to win a title is a wide receiver that can go out there and make a couple big plays a game. That's it. That's what they need. And you get that there. And why did I say Jarvis Landry? Brandon, why are you talking about these older cats and these aging cats? This team is ready to go right now. I need the leadership. I need guys to understand situational football. You got Jarvis Landry. When Jarvis was here 2 years ago, I said, bro, here's the top 3 teams that I think you should go to. You had the Kansas City Chiefs, the Dallas Cowboys, and you had the Baltimore Ravens. Why? Because I went to Pro Football Focus and said, hey, break down where the top teams throwing it to the slot. That's what he does well. Mm-hmm. Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, they love throwing to the slot and the tight end. That's a good spot for him. And Kenny Golladay is one of those wide receivers that you can put out there, and he can average 16, 17 yards a catch. He can make big plays, but something needs to happen there. So that's what I think should happen if the Baltimore Ravens want to see themselves in the Super Bowl again.
Like I said, that all sounds fantastic. I don't care if they want Jesus to be their wide receiver. Pay your quarterback first. Like all of this sounds great. It sounds fantastic. This name, that name, but I think that it's almost an insult for them to be at the combine talking about all these other positions that are necessary for them to win when the most pivotal part of their offense, they keep dangling the carrot in front of and then moving the goalpost, dangling the carrot and then moving the goalpost. It's been a ridiculous back and forth. And, Lamar is – everybody that I've ever spoken to about Lamar Jackson only ever has good things to say about him. They say he's likable. They've never seen a team react to somebody, as quickly as the Ravens reacted to him when he got there. I mean, the list goes on and on. You've never heard a bad thing about him. So it is an insult to have all of those qualities in a quarterback, not to mention his skill set. And I know people say, oh, he's injury prone, or, oh, he only has one playoff win. There's a lot of factors into that. Like, let's not act like the quarterback's out there playing against a defense by himself. But it's an insult to talk about all these other positions to go ahead and make this team great when that most pivotal point, or part rather, that most pivotal piece is the piece that you keep trying to go ahead and screw over, it comes across. Like, you cannot... Franchising Lamar Jackson is not the answer. Pay him and then worry about every other piece of your offense. You can't,
Baltimore Ravens, you can't franchise. Well, let me not say that because I can't speak for a guy like that. I can't speak for him. But
franchise tagging Lamar Jackson is not going to work well for the Baltimore Ravens.
He from Pompano, Florida.
From
Pompano, Florida, Kodak.
Listen.
From Pompano, Florida.
He ain't from Newport Beach, okay?
It's a mindset. If you go out there, it's principle. It's principle.
That's a good point, though. It's principle also because had this gone differently and maybe it didn't take as long and the franchise tag was something that they ended up doing, maybe Lamar would be more open to it. But now that ship has sailed. Right. Because now it's been too much time to make things right and do things right by your quarterback that if you franchise tag him, now it's a slap in my face. Right. Because I've already told you that I want to be here, that I want to be here for the long term, that I deserve this money. You're seeing what Watson's getting. You're seeing what this quarterback's getting.
If I'm Lamar, I'm not saying I want to be here. If I'm Lamar Jackson,
what I'm saying, he said it in the past.
I know, but if I'm Lamar Jackson, what I'm saying right now is I want my money.
No, and he should. Run me my money.
Miami Dolphins, give me my money.
Run me my money.
Atlanta Falcons, give me my money. Y'all need a quarterback. Give me my money. There's a lot of They said it. But anyways, like we can.
If I'm Lamar's mom, I'm in those. If I'm Lamar's mom, I'm in those meetings.
Our numbers are crazy right now, Ashley.
Really?
Our numbers are crazy. Yeah, about 6 months from now, we'll have 20,000 people watching. But
go
you know
ahead
what?
And pull up this
you
stream.
have to be responsible with what you have. We have 179 people watching right now, and we want to say thank you to all 179 of you guys. You got Lo-Fi Island. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Leon Holloway, thank you for tuning in. Oku, y'all need to put y'all real names in here in this chat. Bishop Beckwith. Thank you so much. Ronnie Harris, way to F up your NFL dream. Who you talking to, Ronnie? But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Super excited about this platform. Super excited about Ashley and I going back and forth every day. This is a first. Me and Ashley kind of agreeing on anything. I mean, we can't even agree if we want to go to lunch. We can't even agree where we want to go to lunch, let alone sports. She's texting me. I know I got to throw it to you. I'm
hey,
throw
real
it to you.
quick,
No.
Lamar's mom, if you need backup in these meetings, I got you, girl.
194 people
I got you,
watching.
girl. If Lamar's mama needs some backup in these meetings, I got you, sis.
No, but listen, Ashley, she's such a, oh my goodness, I ain't going to tell you what I want to say and when I texted her last night, but she's texting me about the Nets and the
Oh, yeah, I screenshotted that halftime score. We put up 81 points on them boys at the half. It was sensational.
All right, go ahead, Corey. What we got next?
All right, let's move to the NBA, right? So former NBA player and sports analyst Kendrick Perkins posted a video to his social media Tuesday claiming that the criteria for the MVP has changed, right? With many considering Jokic the front runner right now, Perkins has really stood on his claim that Joel Embiid is indeed the front runner, right? So let's actually take a listen to the clip that we have.
I need to know, is it Uchiwali or is it one Mike? I need to know when it comes down to the criteria and moving the goalposts for the MVPs, because I understand you in the analytics. I understand you're a historian of the game of basketball. But I went and did a little research myself. And since 1990, there's only been 3 MVPs that wasn't top 10 in scoring that won that award. Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, and Jokic. Now, what do they have in common? I'll let it sit there and marinate. I'm just trying to see, you know what I'm saying, when I'm walking into the club, do I need my J's on or is it a dress code? Do I need to put another pair, of church shoes or some red bottoms? Or I need to know, is it Uchiwali or is it one Mike? Like, what's the criteria when moving the goalposts for certain players to win the MVP? I need to know. Because it seems like the goalposts move every single time when we want to push it out there, this particular player that we want to win the MVP, because we all know in 2006 when Kobe was averaging 31, when the Lakers were the 7th seed, and the roster that he had compared to Steve Nash, and Steve Nash won his second consecutive MVP in 2006, was he really supposed to win that? Was he really supposed to outdo Kobe that year? I'm just trying to figure it out, bro. I'm trying to get an understanding. What's the criteria and why the goalposts move for certain players? Is it Uchiwali or is it one Mike? Carry on.
All right, guys. Did Kendrick Perkins have a point here?
Ooh, this is big. This is deep. How you feel, Ashley?
I mean, okay. Can you make a case for Joel Embiid? Sure. But to say that he is the clear front runner over Jokic is kind of egregious. I mean, Jokic is doing things that only a handful. He's on the verge of three-peating an MVP that only Chamberlain, Bird, and Bill Russell have ever done. Like, you can't ignore that. I mean, his true shooting percentage is almost 70%, and he's averaging 25 points a game on a usage of less than 30%. So for people who don't really understand what that means, the points on the board that he is going ahead and putting up for the Denver Nuggets on the regular is drastically more than the amount of time that he's on the court. So he's so efficient. And yes, I'm not taking away from Embiid, and some can make an argument that maybe Embiid deserved the MVP last season. I can listen to that argument, but for me, yeah, I think Embiid had a great second half of the season, but the MVP is a full season award. It's a full regular season award. But I don't think you can take away from what Jokic is doing.
But also, sitting down with Chris Broussard and Nick Wright when I was on FS1 a couple years ago and listened to some of these guys that talk basketball all the time, just like you are as well. You're one of those experts. I put you in that category, Ashley. But it's also a scoring award. It's also is your team winning award. So I think it's more than just who's efficient, who's not efficient. But if you go back in time, which Kendrick Perkins talked about, it's like, there's only been a few guys to win an award that wasn't dominating when it came to points. So when you look at Joel Embiid, he's sitting at number 2 with 33, averaging 33 points a game.
But
right?
He's below Jokic in every other category.
But here's the thing, though, with this whole Joel Embiid thing is, if you go back 3 years ago, he could have won it then, but it goes back to your point, and your point was it's a full season award. If he played 10 to 15 more games, he would have won MVP that year.
But he didn't.
He dominated that year. Last year, you said it, he could have won it last year. And then this year, what you're saying is, oh, well, this guy, because he's efficient in all the other categories, he should be the MVP. Just like in the NFL. I hear what you're saying. The NFL MVP award is a quarterback's award. That's what it is. Whoever plays the best at the quarterback position is going to win the MVP. They need to change the title. They need to change the title when it comes to the NBA MVP as well, to the scoring title. That's what it is. That's what it is. Look at the numbers. Okay. The numbers don't lie. That's all I'm saying.
But I don't like this moving goalpost that we do for the MVP award. And I've critiqued this before because we've seen this when Steph Curry and the Warriors were at the 9th seed in the West, and he was putting up crazy numbers. Right. He was holding down the fort single-handedly by himself. He was the only reason that team didn't completely crumble and was just completely out of any possibility of play-in contention. But the MVP award has always gone to the most valuable player on a winning team. You can't move the goalpost just because.
He's winning. Embiid is winning. It's 40 and 21.
Oh, you can't move the goalpost just because, Steph Curry is having a great season or Dame Lillard is having a great season. If that's the case, Dame Lillard deserves multiple MVPs because although the Trailblazers have never been the best team in the West for a multitude of seasons, he was putting up crazy numbers too. So they constantly move the goalposts when it comes to that conversation. But when we talk about this conversation here, yes, Joel Embiid is second in scoring right now. He's averaging 33 points a game to Jokic's 24. But he is
a big difference.
Hold on.
That's a big difference.
Hold on. But he is 8th in rebounds, 51st in assists, and he's shooting 53% from the field, which is 25th. Compared to Jokic, who is top 10 in all 3 of those categories. So, yes, you're going to go ahead and look at the numbers of points because that's what the sexiest number is.
But
that does not make him more efficient than Jokic.
Joel Embiid is 53% from
Jokic
the field.
Jokic is 63%. He is 6th in the NBA. He's top 10. Embiid's not even top 15. He's beating him in rebounds. He's beating him in assists. You cannot just look at points per game and say, oh, that's the sexiest number, and Embiid has 33 points that he's averaging, and he's doing, yes, that's fantastic, and you cannot take away from what Embiid is doing. Because you take him out of the equation and Philly is losing, but that does not make him more efficient as an overall player as Jokic.
Here's what I love
this season.
Here's what I love, because you've said it, and there's so many other people in the sports world have said this. The NBA is political. Well, hell, the NFL, the NHL, MLB, everything's political, okay? Them starting this conversation, I love because it's so much bigger than just everything that you're throwing out there and what I'm throwing out there. We can't let this dude go out there and win 3, 4. He's going.
Why?
If that's the case, he's going to be the one. He's going to win 6 years in a row. He's entering his prime.
He has been the best player in the NBA for 3 years in a row.
No, he has not.
Statistically,
you go back 3 years ago.
He's won.
The conversation was Giannis.
This would be the. I'm including this as the 3rd year. Last year he was the best player, which is why he won MVP. You can make an argument make an argument for Embiid, but Embiid's availability was the strike. Embiid's availability was the strike against him. There's other people you can make the argument for. The year prior to that, you can make an argument for other people, but it comes down to what it comes down to. And Jokic has been efficient consistently.
So he's the MVP this year?
He is the clear-cut MVP this year. And this weird, like, he can't win 3. He's a foreigner. If Jordan couldn't do it and LeBron couldn't do it and Kobe didn't get it,
that's real.
What does that matter? What does that matter?
Man.
If the MVP is for the most valuable player on their team in the league, it should not matter if he's a foreigner. It should not matter what country he's from. It should not matter who didn't do it, who should have done it. It should just matter. The numbers matter. And statistically, Jokic is above all the other people who are in the conversation for MVP.
Okay. Let me say this and then we can move on. Okay, Ashley, you done? You
yes,
done?
Go
you
ahead.
Good? Okay.
Go ahead.
I just want to say this right now. I love this. I didn't even want to banter between Ashley and I. I'm in the middle as this new media guy. I'm seeing JJ Redick and Kendrick Perkins fight it out, duke it out. This is great entertainment, but I think it's a little deeper than that too. I think Kendrick's he's trying to peel back a few layers here. And guys, I gotta say this, JJ, I love you. You know I love you, man. We go way back. Kendrick, I love you. We go way back. But Kendrick, I think Kendrick's right. I think Big Perk is right. I think Joel Embiid is the MVP. And I know Ashley may want to chime in here because she just went on this 20-minute rant, this 10-minute rant on why Joker is the clear-cut MVP. But I'm going with Kendrick Perkins. Sorry.
All right. Well, let's switch gears back to the NFL, actually. So the NFL Players Association conducted a survey where 1,300 players in the NFL were asked to grade their working conditions, right? They were asked questions regarding team travel, treatment of families, nutrition, locker rooms, weight rooms, training rooms, strength coaches, and training staff, right? So how about I list you guys maybe the top 5. I'll list you guys.
Yeah, go ahead and list us the top 5. Go ahead, Corey.
All right. So at 1, we had the Minnesota Vikings, right? At 2, the Miami Dolphins. At 3, you got the Las Vegas Raiders. At 4, the Houston Texans. And at 5, you got Ashley's Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. Well, who's at 5?
Yeah, Dallas Cowboys.
That's what I thought.
All right.
Okay.
So the bottom 5 would be.
You're a real fan.
Just want to put that in there.
You're a real fan.
Just want to make sure everyone heard that. Wasn't sure if they heard you.
Why aren't those turning into Super Bowls?
That wasn't the question, Brandon. Go ahead, Corey.
All right. So bottom 5, right? We have the Jacksonville Jaguars at 28. We have the Kansas City Chiefs at 29. The Los Angeles Chargers at 30. At 31, you got the Arizona Cardinals, and coming in at last place was the Washington Commanders. Now, I want to just point out, right, 29 Kansas City Chiefs, reigning Super Bowl champions. Like that was a shocker to me. I just want to know, like, are you guys surprised by, who you guys see in the top 5 and
what are the I guess what's the criteria again? What are we talking, like locker room?
Right. So yeah, they asked about team travel, treatment of families, nutrition, locker rooms, weight rooms, strength coaches, right, training staff, and so on. So
okay. So before I pass this to Brandon, because he played for at least 10 of these teams. Can
you name them?
Jets, Giants, Dolphins, Chicago. Hold on. Dang. Wait. Jets, Giants, Chicago, Dolphins.
I was drafted in 2006.
Oh my God! Why am I blanking on the last one?
Who was
Seattle?
I drafted to? Seattle.
Seattle's 5. Okay, Seattle's 5.
And then I had a cup of tea at the end. There was a 1-month stint.
The Vikings?
With some people. Dang, Ashley, you don't know your
co-host.
co-host.
No, what was it? I have 5 of them. Oh, the Saints. Right.
Who was I drafted to?
I'm drawing up. Who was
the
it?
Denver Broncos.
Oh, right, duh. I'm sorry, the Broncos.
I used to kill your your dad going.
Maybe that's why I blocked. Maybe that's
for saying
maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I blocked it out. Maybe that's why.
Right now?
That's probably blocked it out. Yes, the Broncos.
I used to crush the Cowboys.
The Broncos.
You know what time it was.
Wait, so Jets, Giants, Broncos, Dolphins. Jets, Giants, Broncos, Dolphins, Seattle, Saints. Chicago. That's 7. We have 7.
There we go.
I was close. I said 10. I'm a little surprised by the Chiefs. I'm not surprised by Houston.
Hi.
I'm not really surprised by Houston. I am surprised by the Chiefs, though, because they've won multiple Super Bowls. Right. You know what, though? treatment of families, like Patrick Mahomes' wife's not getting mistreated. So I'm curious, like, who does this actually apply to? Is it like the guys who aren't the stars? Because the star players, their families are being treated like royalty. So, I'm definitely not surprised about the Dallas Cowboys, though. I mean,
that's what happens, right? Like the NFLPA, they go around, they put out these surveys. They may come around and once in training camp. That's when they usually do their hits, touch every guy, vote on certain things, give us our little Madden check. And then they come back around mid-season towards the end of the season. And when they come out, they'll put these things in front of us and let us, vote or also, rank, where we think our team is at. So that's how it usually happens. I'm not surprised, Ashley, that the Kansas City Chiefs are sitting at 29th. That was my first NFL check. The Kansas City Chiefs gave me my first NFL check. I was going through the draft process, right? Right now we have so many young men at the NFL scouting combine today. Gosh, this Celsius got me so much energy. I can't even speak today. Golly, let me slow down a little bit. But right now we have a couple hundred young men at the NFL scouting combine right now out in Indianapolis, right? So what's happening afterwards, they'll start bouncing around to team. Kansas City Chiefs brought me in. They gave me a $60 check that I still haven't cashed, right?
You haven't cashed your $60 check?
No, because it's like, to me, it means so much, right? So it's like, this is my first NFL check.
I don't think you can cash it anymore, though.
You don't think so?
I think it probably won't. I think it probably
They owe me $60 per diem, right, to get a little food. They gave me $60. And so when I was there, their amenities, their locker room, their meeting space, it
looks old
in the stadium, and it's old.
Yeah,
so when you look at, like, you go in the weight room, when you go in the cafeteria, it's old. And then also when you look at some of these older organizations, they have people that's been around for 30, 40 years. Because one of the things, Corey, that you mentioned was, strength and conditioning coaches.
Yes.
Athletic trainers. You had Michael Thomas come out a couple weeks ago and said the NFL trainers are shit. And what he's talking about is you got guys, when you hurt your ankle, hurt your back, you come in, they say, just put heat and stim on it. Just put ice and stim on it. So that's what he's referring to. So a lot of these organizations have people that's been around the organization for 25, 30 years. Love it, but it may be time to bring in the new, right? It may be time to invest in more technology and in more innovative ways.
Can we play a little game here?
Let's go.
So I'm going to go through all of Brandon's former teams, and he's going to tell me if he agrees with their ranking on this list, okay? So we're going to start. The Miami Dolphins are number 2. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I agree. When I played for the Miami Dolphins, Ashley, we were in Davie. Now they're right by the stadium. They just invested a shit ton of money into their new digs, and it's beautiful. It's amazing. So I'm not surprised that they're number 2. I'm actually surprised that they're not number 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's that good.
Okay. All right, let's go down the list then. We're going to go to the Giants. They're sitting at number 8. Agree or disagree?
The Giants, I'm not shocked by this. I've never been in I've never been in the Carolina Panthers locker room. Then you have Chicago upgraded recently. Eagles haven't. The Giants facilities are actually good, right? They're really good. They're clean. But they're not like modern, right?
Okay.
There's a couple facilities here that's modern. So I'm actually shocked that they're at number 8, because I would expect, a few of these other teams that's been under renovation.
Are you surprised that they're below the Packers? Because Lambeau is old.
I know.
They got bleachers.
But I don't know if they. I'm shocked. I'm gonna say this. I'm shocked that the New York Giants are at 8 right now.
Okay, we have the Saints in the top 10. Surprised?
Not surprised at all. I'm actually shocked that they're not in the top 5, and the reason being is, like House of Athlete. A lot of my inspiration came from my month when I was with the Saints. They got 2 float pods in there. They got cryo chambers there. I mean, it feels, and the Baltimore Ravens are a lot like this. It feels like you're in a spa. I mean, you walk into the wet room, it's dark, it's colors, the lights change. It's beautiful inside.
Okay.
Beautiful.
All right, well, right behind them is another former team of yours, the Seattle Seahawks, number 11. Surprised? Agree? Disagree?
The Seattle Seahawks, you remember who owned the Seattle Seahawks? You know, one of the founders of Microsoft, right? So when you walk in there, there's a lot of technology, super innovative. It's amazing there, and they do a
Rest
great
in peace,
job
Paul
with
Allen.
people. Yep, Paul Allen, phenomenal job investing into their facilities there. I mean, remember when Richard Sherman and those guys first got to Seattle, they used to come to work in boats and jet skis, pull up to the dock. Like coaches are coming to their facility in a boat. There's a dock right there. You're practicing on the water, so I'm not surprised here.
All right, let's slide down a little bit. Number 13, the Chicago Bears. Surprised? Agree? Disagree?
I'm not. They were trash when I was there as far as like the amenities. Not trash, but it was old. It felt like the old Denver Broncos. It felt like the old Miami Dolphins. Everybody's upgrading right now. They're in that phase of upgrading. The Chicago Bears went through an upgrade, a renovation over the last couple of years. So I'm not surprised that they're here. And I'm also, you know, they should be better. And this is part of the problem. We talked about this yesterday on the show about the Chicago Bears using this offseason to take advantage of the opportunity they have in the division of potentially running it the next 10 years, but they're not making the proper investment. You finally renovate your facility. Why didn't you renovate it to a place where you went to number one? Right? Like, you keep cutting corners. Stop cutting corners. Spend the money.
All right, we're gonna work our way out of the top 15 now. At 19, the New York Jets. Surprised?
I'm shocked.
Wow.
Because they renovated their facility, or they opened up their new facility back in like 2009, I want to say.
Roughly, I believe.
And it's still amazing. It's beautiful. Maybe they can upgrade a little bit to like their wet room experience, like the hot tub, the cold tub, the steam room, the sauna. The cafeteria is awesome. The food is phenomenal. I went back, Ashley, to the Jets this offseason.
Your training camp tour.
And I walked in the cafeteria. You know what? I'm getting goosebumps. It almost made me cry thinking about this. No, seriously, because it's kind of emotional. But I walked in, and they're like, Brandon, do you want the same omelet? Ashley, I haven't been there since 2016. That was for breakfast.
That's so cute.
And then I came back for lunch, and they were like, Brandon, do you want me to make that same chicken sandwich that you always used to eat after practice? Wow. I said, I would love it, but I don't eat meat anymore.
Oh, it's so cute. They remember your order.
I almost cried. Yeah, stop.
We're gonna slide down.
I'm done. There's more teams.
No, there's more teams.
I'm playing for more teams.
Number 20, the Denver Broncos. Surprised or not surprised?
Well, you know I love Russell Wilson, so a part of this training camp tour that we went on, you know, I had to stop in Denver. But, I love Denver, but I love Russell Wilson more.
We know Russell Wilson is your bro. You guys have a bromance. We know.
Yeah, I love me some Russell Wilson. And they upgraded everything. Where's the Denver Broncos? I'm surprised that they're not in the top 10.
Really?
Their new facilities or new digs is that good, right? So I'm shocked that they're this far down on the list. Oh, I think I'm starting to speak better now.
We're done with the brand.
Celsius gave me a lot of energy.
We're done with the Brandon.
Celsius.
We're done with the Brandon tour, but I do want to ask you about the bottom three. I'm not surprised about the Commanders. I've actually covered a game there, and it's like a museum. It's old, so I'm not surprised about that. I am surprised, though, about the Chargers and the Cardinals, especially the Chargers being at SoFi, brand new stadium, brand new facilities, and they're 30.
No. So here's the situation, Ash, right? Like, I think it's not Orange County. They have their own practice facilities outside of the stadium, both teams.
Isn't it near? But I thought it was near.
Yeah, but they're trying to renovate or find their long-term solution. So I'm not surprised by the Chargers. No, as far as like game day amenities.
For sure. You're not surprised by the Cardinals?
Yes, because the stadium is amazing.
Me too. I'm so surprised by the Cardinals.
Remember, they probably made this when did they open up this new stadium? Can we fact check this? We have a fact checker yet? All right, can we see when the Arizona Cardinals opened their new?
Wasn't it last
stadium?
year or the year before?
I think you're in middle school. I think you're in middle school.
No, they used to play at it used to be called the University of Phoenix.
Watch, middle school. Watch. 2006.
Wow.
2006.
I was in elementary school.
Yeah. Yes. So it's old.
Dang. Why did I think they got a new one?
Can I say this? Are ladies, do they still get offended if you call them old?
I mean, I'm not old, so
you're getting old.
I just
turned 30,
but I don't look 30, so.
Tell her, that's all that matters. Right?
How do you feel? How do you feel turning 30? Does it feel
I was, true story. Like I recently did a podcast with 2 of my friends. Shout out to Ashley and Alexis Stoudemire, 2 really good girlfriends of mine, and we had this conversation. And I had a small panic attack, like not a panic attack. I was getting anxiety leading up to like turning 30, because I think, especially as women, you know, I've always been so heavily invested in my career in school, like most of my 20s, and like hanging out with my friends and stuff like that. I didn't really date in my 20s. Like I dated like here or there, but I didn't really focus on, you know, building a family and looking, you know, for that chapter of my life. So when you start to approach 30 as a woman, you kind of start freaking out. Your biological clock, you know, unfortunately starts to tick. And you start to wonder, like, holy crap, did I miss the window when I was 27? Was that the guy I probably should have stayed with, or things like that? And I had so much anxiety. And then I turned 30. And it was like, oh, this is dope. Yeah. Like, I like it here. I think one of the cool things about being 30, especially as a woman, you're so comfortable with saying no. You're so comfortable with standing your ground. You're so comfortable with, you know, adhering to your boundaries. I think when you're in your 20s, you kind of have to, like, you feel the need to appease everybody. You feel the need to kind of say yes to things when you really want to say no and not ruffle any feathers. And you kind of want to be this perfect image of what people expect you to be. And when I turned 30, it was kind of like, fuck that. Like, here we are. Like, I'm 30 now. So, like, you're either with it, you're not. These are the red flags. I'm out. These are my boundaries. You want to cross some cool piece. It's been real. When I say no, I mean it. Like, I feel grown. I feel grown at 30, and I like it. I like it here. It's dope. So, dope. For all the women who are freaking out about turning 30, 30 is so much more fun than your 20s. Just trust me on this. Trust me.
Love it. Okay, let's move on. Ashley's turning 30.
Oh, I turned 30.
Oh, you turned 30.
I'm already 30.
We're already there.
We'll slide it.
All right, so we're going to move on to Jalen Carter, right? So according to NFL Network's James Palmer, top draft prospect Jalen Carter was booked last night on misdemeanor charges, right, stemming from charges of reckless driving and racing. Now, this stems from a January 15th crash that tragically took the lives of his Georgia teammate and a Georgia staff member. Now, if you guys remember, this was actually like hours right after, you know, Georgia won their second straight national championship, right? But my question for you guys is Jalen Carter's situation really going to affect his draft stock?
Well, I'm going to let Brandon take the reins on this one, but I will say yesterday I was hosting Brother from Another on Peacock. Shout out to Michael Smith and those guys. And I spoke to Jim Trotter, who is right now at the Combine. And it's interesting, he said that about 50% of the people there are questioning, you know, he is so young. He's 20 years old, and when you're 20, you make mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes are very costly. And sometimes they result in tragic consequences, much like this. And half those people say they don't think it's going to affect his draft stock. You know, he's young. He made a mistake. Right. And then some people say, yeah, but, you know, you're going into the National Football League. This is a multi-billion-dollar business. And unfortunately, you expect young guys to have grown men mentalities, right? And a lot of people are questioning his judgment. You know, you hear about those tests, especially the tests that they give to quarterbacks when they ask them all those weird questions. I think even wide receivers, Brandon, you can speak to that. They ask you the most asinine, just weird questions to see what your judgment is, to see what your mindset is, to see if you're mature, you're immature. And some people say it's a little unfair. Your brain is still developing. You're still such a young person. But you can also understand it's a business. And I need to know that you can deal with what comes with the business. So it's interesting that some people feel like it's not going to affect, and some people are like, I don't know if I want to go ahead and have somebody in my organization who has bad judgment. So, you know, Barrington, I mean, you can speak to this more. You've gone through the draft process. You've gone through all of that. I mean, what do you make of the situation? It's unfortunate. It's tragic. First and foremost, we want to send our condolences to the families of those affected who lost their loved ones. It's honestly terrible.
Yeah. No, I'm glad that you hit that, right? Because there was 2 people that lost their lives, right? And there's
one was his teammate, I believe.
Yep, families and friends, loved ones that are left to pick up the pieces. And he could have easily been gone as well. But to answer the question, Jalen Carter's draft status will not be affected. I'm sitting here reading this now on ESPN.com. Jalen Carter returns to the NFL scouting combine after his arrest. He was just arrested last night, right? Bailed out in 45 minutes. When you're talented,
that's right.
You know what I mean? You're going to get more opportunities. What teams are looking for is
talent trumps
production
everything.
And culture, right? And you got to have both. Production, we know this kid can produce. This kid is a back-to-back national champion when it comes to college football. A lot of people want him. Can someone please tell me where he was projected to go before this and where he still may go, right? Production, he can get it done. When you look at culture, right, character, like I was a guy that came in immature as well. But this is the human experience. This is the human journey. Like when you're a teenager and you're in your 20s, you better pray. Your mom and dad is praying because they know any minute they can get a call that you just made some dumbass mistake. We have the brain of like a size, like our brain is the size of a chimpanzee, or I wouldn't say the size, but it functions like a chimpanzee. Like we just make dumb decisions in our 20s. We all do. Me sitting here today is a huge blessing for me to still be here, and a lot of us to still be here that's sitting in our 30s or 40s or 50s. We go back and we can probably list out a million things, a million incidents where it's like, man, that could have been a situation. That could have been a night, right? So for me, I don't think it's going to affect his draft status because he's talented. And then teams going in, yes, you're right, Ashley. There's a lot of guys out there that are asking these questions, but they know these general managers, these head coaches, these position coaches, these owners, they know that these kids make dumb mistakes. Hell, you have 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds making dumb mistakes. Hell, you got Brett Favre still making dumb mistakes. And he's retired.
Ain't dumb mistakes, criminal mistakes.
Right.
Thieving mistakes.
Right. So it's unfortunate, like Ashley said, it's unfortunate that we're having this conversation because we lost two people. You know, and it's two people that was close to him, and he has to deal with that. And hopefully he learns from it and he continues to grow and mature. I always say if you make it to the NFL, you come in as a boy. And if you stay long enough, right, you're going to eventually leave a man.
I want to ask you this because, first and foremost, the story is still developing, so I think it's very important for everyone to hold, passing off judgment until all the facts come out. I think that's the case with any story. But I want to ask you because The Athletic had a very interesting piece on the matter, and they posed the question that if Jalen was a quarterback prospect versus a defensive prospect, would he be awarded the same type of level of, it's just a mistake, he's young? Quarterbacks think about Lamar Jackson when he was going through the draft process, or I think about when Dak was going through it, he had a DUI and he got into, I believe it was a fight at some party, and he fell in the draft, in the draft standings or in the draft prospect, the mock draft, things like that. So I wonder do you think there's any truth to that think piece, that if he were a different position, say a quarterback and a black quarterback at that, would we be having a drastically different conversation about him?
Absolutely. Coach Tomlin, he says this publicly, but it's something that cascades throughout the NFL and probably all industries and all life, right? Good people are going to treat good people are going to treat people good, but we're not going to treat you all the same, right? Different expectations for different people. Different responsibilities come with different things. Quarterback, no, you got to get it right now. You don't have time. We don't have time for that. Go back to your Lamar Jackson point. You can't win without paying the quarterback. Nothing else matters. All that, the whole rant that I went on as far as like, go get this wide receiver and the chemistry and continuity between the quarterback and the offense quarterback. None of that matters when you don't have a quarterback. So if we're talking about just if a quarterback was in this situation, what would happen? It'd be different. I don't know if I can trust this guy giving you the key to my franchise. And sometimes like we're too sensitive now in this world. You know, it's like
interesting.
Everybody need to be treated the same and this and that. It's like that's not the reality. That's not what we're living in.
It's interesting you say that because that's the mindset a lot of people have, and it's interesting that in one conversation you can say we're all young at one point, we all make mistakes, and that can apply to a defensive position. But then the minute it's a quarterback who's the same age, made a mistake, we're all young, we all make mistakes. People are making mistakes in their 30s and 40s, like you said. All of a sudden, that grace is no longer given because you should have known better.
No, he's going to get the grace, but it will affect his draft stock.
Right, that's what I meant. The grace of it not affecting his draft stock is no longer given, right. And that's such an interesting and then when you bring race into it, then it drastically changes. Yeah, but it's multifaceted.
That's right. But let's look at it though, right? What am I asking a defensive lineman to do? What am I asking an offensive lineman to do? Sometimes the shit is just simple. Let's break down a defensive lineman, a linebacker. Like, yeah, you got to have football IQ. You have to have awareness and all that stuff. There's so many things that go into it. But there's some amazing defensive linemen that just see ball, hit ball. Go do this. Go make that move. They just feel it. A quarterback, you got to have leadership skills. A quarterback, you got to be able to process not only what's happening off the field with your quarterback coach, your offensive coordinator, hearing the play call, getting the play call, getting it to the guys, and then coming out in 30 seconds, being able to dissect what they're doing, pre-snap read, and then within 1 second, understanding where they went to. They went from 3 in my pre-snap to now they rolled to 2. So now my responsibilities change. So now I got to go 1, 2, 3. Oh, well, shit. Now I got to go 3, 4, 5 or whatever it is, right? So there's a lot on the quarterback because if you don't have a quarterback, you lose. So these guys need to be able to almost present themselves as like CEOs, leaders of organizations. You're not asking that out of a wide receiver. You're not asking that out of a defensive back. What they want is a guy can come in and can contribute right now. A defensive lineman, offensive lineman, linebacker can come in and contribute right now and have these character issues that we can fix or help you grow through. Quarterback, you have to have it now, right? So what else we got? That was deep. I love that conversation.
Yeah. So next we actually have Fact or Foolish, but how about we take a break? We'll take a break real quick, and when we return, we'll dive into that segment, all right?
Sounds good.
So when I first got in the league, when I was in Denver, we had all these. DJ Williams used to be on the show. He was the one passing around the Vialis.
Cialis and
Cialis.
That's different.
Whatever it's called. Cialis, Vialis. But yeah, but we wasn't doing Viagra. So what happens is they was passing them out before the game, and we was taking them because when it thins out your blood, energy, and you go longer.
I'm not talking about Cialis, and I'm talking about actual surgery.
Oh, what you saying?
Yeah, like enlargement.
Yeah,
surgery.
that's what I'm talking about, enlargement.
People be really doing that?
Yes.
I don't know nothing about that.
No, see, y'all talking about something that's gonna keep it right for 36 hours.
Yeah.
Nah, this motherfucker taking that shit so they can be that way forever.
Oh my God.
Yes.
In the league?
That's how you get suspended. That's how you get suspended.
People do that in the NBA? Y'all 6'7", 6'8", I thought like.
What does that have to do with anything?
Is that a pause?
That's a major pause.
I'm just saying.
That's major.
I never heard of that.
That was kind of
He said the shoe size and that size are not clicking.
Ain't no OD.
Let's skip that
Ain't
part
no
right
OD.
there.
You heard he said I'm corny.
Let's get back to the basketball.
I'm secure in my manhood. Tell me I'm sorry.
Don't have surgery.
This is really happening right now?
Brandon. Like what? Yes.
Bro, let me tell you, ain't nobody getting suspended for taking Cialis.
But what's the problem? But okay, let's say they doing that. What you say they doing it. What's wrong with that? Why they gotta be suspended over that? If they feel like they need to be
because it has something in there.
Yes.
It has a steroid in there.
Ingredient in
Same
it.
way if
It's
you
a
take
steroid
an
ingredient.
on a steroid.
Okay.
It's no different than in the NFL. I forget the player, but there was a player who was
I can't think of their names.
trying to conceive with his wife, and she was going through, I want to say, in vitro, and she was going through the fertilization of her eggs, and he was on medication to, I think, increase his testosterone. Wasn't doing it to increase his performance. It was to have a baby, and he got suspended because the ingredient in there still comes up in a test.
You remember what Eddie Murphy said on Golden Child?
What he
they
said?
tried to sell him that stuff to help keep the yang up. What that boy say? Ain't nothing wrong with my yang.
Athletes are some of the healthiest people on the planet. Adopt a lifestyle with an all-new HOA Plus app.
What's up, athletes? It's your girl Maya here. I'm Bonnie. Welcome back to HOA Plus.
HOA Plus delivers daily workout classes with real coaches tailored just for you.
Squat right in, stomach off the ground until you get to the full position.
Connect with your own personal head coach for live one-on-one training,
Bring it up to the ceiling.
so you can reach your goals even faster.
Nice.
We are making it easier to train,
3,
fuel,
2,
and recover
1.
where you are.
You made it.
Come commit to a routine that delivers results and live like an athlete. Join the tribe on HOA Plus.
Are you the best defensive player, or are you the best player to ever play football?
I'm not saying I'm the best player to ever play football.
What about
But
defense?
am I the best defensive player? Okay. If not, who?
Brandon?
Rice. Reggie Rice is a great player. And I put him up there in the same classes myself. Every time I walk into a room, pick up a paper or something, it's LT, hey, I see an article, they talk about all these people, and then always at the last, my name always shows up in the last sentence of the last paragraph before they say greatest of all time. Okay. Yeah, if I didn't want a paycheck, yeah. Kick me out of the game every week. Now, but yeah, I could play in an era. I think I can. I am rugged enough to play in this era. I don't know. That's a hard question, man.
Could you have cleaned your game up, though? The violence.
It was clean. That was clean as I could get it. I was clean.
Then you can't play in this era.
It might be a problem. I may have to.
Ooh, we live. We streaming and we out. Let's go tight to Corey right now. Welcome to YouTube. Our show Paper Route. We're back. Let's go to Corey right now on the tight, and Corey will get us into the next topics.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We now have our segment foolish, right? In this segment,
Manderville.
I'll read a statement, and then you guys will have to determine whether it's simply fact or foolish, right? But you have to give your reason and why. So now for our first one, Super Bowl together, fact or foolish?
Notes.
Well, okay, listen. Pull out Alice. Even though you told me Super Bowl in LA, that's where you wanted to go, but somehow it didn't happen. But okay, it's fine. I'll get over it. But yeah, I just don't preface this by what is one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. Favorite quarterback of all time, Peyton Manning.
Really?
It is. I'm a huge Peyton Manning fan. True story. When I have a, I'm gonna name her Peyton.
Don't say it out loud because people like.
It's not a common name. I just don't know if Russell Wilson has enough years where he's going to be his most productive left. I don't know if we've seen the start of his decline, and I don't know if Sean Payton is Sean Payton's an incredible coach, but I just don't think that it's going to be enough to bring Russell Wilson back to the Seattle Seahawks. I think that time is now. If they're able to and do what, they did for Peyton Manning in Denver, and that is, work around what he's no longer able to do. The defense won that Super Bowl, then yes. But if they rely on Russell Wilson of the Seattle Seahawks, that's their game plan to go ahead and win a Super Bowl, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So I'm on essentially.
So the question.
Sean Payton and Russell.
Oh, fact.
Of course.
Right. No, this is a hard one for
kidding.
me. This is a hard to win the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. But when you put together a legendary coach and a legendary player, you win Super Bowls.
Sometimes.
Andy Reid and Mahomes. Check. Right? A lot of these with the coach and the you just said, let's not forget, all right? I understand the whole conversation happening around Russell Wilson right now. Let's not forget that the guy through 10 years was the most winningest quarterback in the history of the NFL. And then you're going to and then you got Pete Carroll. Absolutely. But now dive into the numbers, how efficient he was, and then go into situational football, 2-minute drill, clutch moments. There was nobody better over those 10 years in the history of our game. So let's say that. Pete Carroll and Russ won one. Drew Brees and Sean Payton won one. So I truly believe
Pete Carroll and them should have won too, but that's a different conversation.
I truly believe Sean and Russ will win one. Now, Ashley, you brought it up. It's like, well, is this the decline of Russell? I say no.
You don't think it's a decline in some aspects of his game?
No. But let me get to it. Let me tell you why. You got Drew Brees. Drew Brees won his after his decline, his shoulder. Remember, the only reason why Sean Payton was able to get him is because his shoulder, he had that big injury in San Diego. So he goes down to New Orleans. He can't even throw past 45 yards anymore. That's what they say. Mm-hmm. And then they go out there and have this legendary run statistically and also win a Super Bowl. Peyton Manning won his second Super Bowl when he couldn't even throw it 35 yards.
The defense won that Super Bowl.
Correct. But you know what Peyton did for that team? The same thing Tom Brady did for the Tampa Bay Bucks when they won in 2020. Leadership, make everyone better, hold everyone accountable. That's what Peyton Manning did. Tom Brady, and the reason why I say I don't think he's on the decline in the back half, well, he's definitely on the back half, but I don't think he's not capable of doing what he did 5 years ago. It's because you got guys like Tom Brady out there doing it at a high level. It's like, are you taking care of your body? There's one thing I know about Russ, because I know Russ. He's taking care of his body.
He invests like $1 million a year into his body.
Correct.
But Father Time is also undefeated, as we've seen.
Well, you got Aaron Rodgers, that's 39. You got Peyton Manning.
Aaron Rodgers is nowhere near the Aaron Rodgers of.
He's coming off a back-to-back MVPs.
What I'm saying is there are still aspects of Aaron Rodgers' game. Same thing happened with Tom Brady, that he's not the Tom Brady of the New England Patriots. The game, he's still, when you talk great quarterbacks, he's still in the conversation. He's still in the conversation when you talk about Patrick Mahomes and those guys, even though he's a lot older, he's still in that convo. But his game, there have been tweaks to it. But he is so gifted that it doesn't affect it. But you can see differences in his game.
Aaron Rodgers is.
You didn't see differences in Tom Brady's game from New England Patriots Tom Brady and Tampa Bay Bucks Tom Brady?
No, for sure. But they've been saying this for years, though, about Tom Brady. Like what I saw last year, I'll be honest with you. Go check out that deep ball towards the end of the season. I think it was the week 16 Mike Evans, because their connection was off all year. It was a big moment for him because, like, oh, are they finally connecting again? He threw it like 60 yards through the air, tight spiral. And he was throwing the ball like that the whole year, but they just wasn't coming down and making a play, right? Whether it was Tom overthrowing it or underthrowing it or, Mike Evans not being in a position, who knows? But he threw the ball extremely well. He can still play. I truly believe that. What's next?
Moving on. Travis Kelce will finish his career as the best tight end of all time.
No, foolish. I don't think that he's going to surpass Tony Gonzalez or Antonio Gates. I think you can make an argument that he's surpassed Gronk. So if you put those guys in a top 4 conversation right now, I think Gronk would be 4th right now. Travis Kelce is 3. But I don't know how much longer Kelce plans on playing. And if he does play for a certain amount of time, let's say he plays for 5 more years, how many of those years are going to be at the standard in which, the quality of which he's playing now? You will start to eventually see some sort of a decline. And I just don't know if there is enough time in that window to surpass Gates and Gonzalez. So for me, he'll always be top 3, though, for sure. I think that's cemented. Top 3.
Listen, it's fact, but it's a difficult conversation, right? It's a lot. I mean, comparing one generation to the next, the tight end position has totally evolved and changed, right? The tight end position today is a
That's
glorified
true.
wide receiver. These guys on this list, you have Jimmy Graham, you have Ozzie Newsome and Jackie Smith, even Rob Gronkowski and Shannon Sharp. These guys, Shannon, he kind of introduced this H-back guy coming in, blocking a little bit, then getting out on routes, but they were blocking. You know, Travis Kelce does a phenomenal job of blocking and getting in the trenches and getting his hands dirty. He absolutely does that. But, man, he's dynamic in the pass game, and that's where he separates himself from everyone on that list. Tony Gonzalez can't mess with Travis Kelce when it comes to running routes and being dynamic after the catch. Now, man, Tony, I love you. And he was dynamic too. We're talking about a guy that was catching 80, 90, 100 balls year in and year out, even, in year 14, 15, 16. Look what he did with the Atlanta Falcons. But he was just so savvy in route and coverage recognition and route recognition. He knew that. Travis Kelce, I mean, you could put one of the best corners on Travis Kelce, and he's going to get open. So I like Travis Kelce to go down as the best tight end, but it's with an asterisk, right? You got to say, he's not the guy that was, in the trenches blocking the way the other guys did. Antonio Gates, we had this conversation at the Super Bowl. Me, LaShawn Shady McCoy, and Antonio Gates at the FanDuel party. And Antonio Gates, to me, that's who he's chasing. Right? Antonio Gates, there's an argument that Antonio Gates right now is the best tight end ever, right? And I would say, you know what? He is. You give this kid, Travis Kelce, 4 more years, he will surpass
I don't know
Antonio
if Travis
Gates.
Kelce
I know
has
Antonio
4 more
Gates is going to be
years.
mad at me.
I don't know if Travis Kelce has 4 more years at the level in which he's performing now. That's the thing. If he does, then I feel like then it's a very strong possibility. But I think he has maybe 2-3 years.
But Ashley, that's okay.
And I don't know if that's enough time to surpass those guys.
But remember, Antonio Gates, the guys that we're talking about, Antonio Gates and also Tony Gonzalez, they moved into those later years, 5-6 years, still catching 70, 80, 90 balls.
That's true.
Because now if you slow down, this is cover 2. I just need to get to this spot, turn around, the ball's on me. Bam.
That's true.
Right? It just changes a little bit.
We shall see.
It's almost like a cornerback, Charles Woodson, now saying I'm slowing down, now let me go to safety. Rod Woodson, I'm slowing down at corner, let me go to safety. Wide receiver, Larry Fitzgerald, I'm going from wide receiver to now tight end. So down there we're going to do the same thing with him, just put him in his spots. A basketball player, okay, well, let me add my fadeaway. Or, you know what, I can't drive the way I used to drive, so I'm going to sit out here and just shoot threes.
Well, listen, Travis Kelce is going to be hosting Saturday Night Live on this upcoming weekend.
Are you watching?
I'm definitely tuning in. I'm curious to see how he does. Are you going to watch?
Absolutely.
He's hosting. So for people who have never watched Saturday Night Live, he has an opening monologue. He's going to be doing skits. I'm very excited to see how he does.
What do you think is going to happen? Who would he make fun of?
He's probably going to take a dig. He's probably going to take a little bit of a dig at Patrick Mahomes. He'll probably take a dig at his brother.
That's what I was thinking.
He's probably going to
his mom?
No, I don't know if he'll take a dig at his mom. He's probably going to take a dig at his brother for sure.
Definitely.
Somebody in the AFC, the Bills.
He's probably going to make a tight end joke, probably about chasing the greatest of all time. He's probably going to make that joke. So,
a little grainy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and tune in for sure. I'm excited to see what that looks like.
Next topic.
Yeah, definitely a must watch. All right, let's stay in the same building though, right? Patrick Mahomes will surpass Tom Brady in Super Bowl wins.
Foolish. I think Patrick Mahomes, he has 3 right now. I say he finishes his career with 5. I think
he has 2. Patrick Mahomes has 2.
Oh, he has 2? Okay, he finishes. I'll still say
Foolish.
I'm gonna say 4 to 5 is what he finishes his career with, 4 or 5, and I don't think he hits 7 or passes it.
Right, Patrick Mahomes surpassing Tom Brady in Super Bowl wins is foolish, but it'll be close.
It's gonna be close.
Here are the things that I wrote down for my reasons why that he'll come up short. Health, war of attrition, right? That's a big deal. Every player faces this and battles this, right? And it's not only him, but he has to count on Travis Kelce. How many more years does Travis Kelce have? How many more years does his running back or his right tackle or this center has? Or guys on the – and it's not even years, but it's just can they stay healthy? Mm-hmm. And the injury rate in the NFL is 100%. So that's number one. Number two, Andy Reid's age. Now, a lot of people Big Red. A lot of people are saying that Andy Reid is going to stay around as long as Patrick Mahomes is staying around and he's in his prime. But in 3-4 years, could Andy potentially say, you know what, I got another one. I'm walking away. What does that do to Patrick Mahomes? That's a big piece to this whole puzzle. That's this whole debate around Tom Brady and Bill Belichick is insane. It's 50-50. It ain't Tom Brady was more important or Bill Belichick was more important. It's the marriage. It's them together. That's why they were so dynamic. And the last thing is parity. A new word on the show, big word on the show. I chopped it up on Monday. Parity, right? Parity in the NFL. Any team can win now. When Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think the window for the Chiefs to kind of run the league closes a little bit more every single year. I think Jalen Hurts is going to be getting one soon. I think Joe Burrow is getting one in the next year or two. There's a few guys that you got to look out for.
I don't know about Jalen. I don't know about Jalen Hurts.
I think the Eagles are going to get one while he's the quarterback for sure. I don't know when. I won't say it's going to be next year. I think the Bengals probably are the team that you got to look out for the next year or two. I think they're close to getting one, but I definitely think while Jalen Hurts is the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, they're going to get one. I think also the biggest difference you have to look out for too is Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady are two different types of quarterbacks. You know, Tom Brady wasn't a quarterback who was athletic. He wasn't running. He wasn't leaving the pocket. And I think a lot of the times that kind of, can be attributed to his longevity. Patrick Mahomes is much more, elusive. He's much quicker. He's leaving that pocket. He's sliding. That leaves you room for more injuries of different parts of your body. So that speaks to your point of health. But I will say I'm confident that he gets two more. I think he gets two more for sure.
Okay. Corey in the cut.
That's me. All right. Factor foolish, guys. We will see another team complete a perfect season in the NFL.
Fact.
What's your thinking?
Now, I'll say this. I don't know if we'll be alive to see it. I can't give you a time frame. But
it's going to. I'm opposite of you. It's going to happen within 5 years. We're definitely going to see it's going to happen soon.
I'm not gonna put a timestamp on it, but I do think just like I'm not gonna put a timestamp on somebody surpassing LeBron's now all NBA scoring record that he took from Kareem. Like it'll happen again. Will I be alive to see it? Don't know. Hope so. But listen, records are meant to be broken. We have this conversation all the time. There are teams that have gotten close. But close almost only counts in horseshoes. But it's going to happen. I just don't know when. I don't know if I'll be here. I hope I am. And I hope it's, a team that I root for.
Will we see another team complete a perfect season in the NFL? Fact or foolish? The answer is fact. Not only is it fact, Ashley and Corey from the cut, it's going to happen within 5 years.
Wow.
And not only is it going to happen in 5 years, it's going to happen from one of these teams. And one of these teams will complete it. It's going to be the Cincinnati Bengals, potentially, or the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. They'll do it. And this is going to be a shocker to you guys, and this can happen next year, the New York Football Jets, if they make the right decision at the quarterback position. Let me tell you why, Ashley. That defense can shut down any offense.
I have a great defense in Dallas. I'm not saying crazy things like that.
That offense, just be efficient. Don't mess the game up and score big points. Hell, Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles was so close to doing it. They could have done it this year. So I'm telling you right now that it's fact and it's going to happen in the next couple years.
Except they didn't.
It's going to come from one of those three organizations.
The Eagles could have done it, but they took a couple L's, and two came from, the boys down in the Big D.
Corey from the block.
Yeah.
All right, let's transition to the NBA. Will Damian Lillard win the scoring title this year? Fact or foolish?
I'm going fact. Dame time, baby.
What does that mean?
Dame time? Taking a deep breath? Are you contemplating or?
I'm going fact too. I'm going fact right now. You look at Luka sitting. He's leading right now. He's averaging 33.2 points. You have Joel Embiid averaging 33 points, and you have Dame Lillard that is sitting in third, averaging 32.3 points. Right, and then you have Giannis, who could potentially be in the conversation. He's sitting right there, averaging 31 points a game. I say Dame because Dame. I mean, he's a natural scorer. This is what he does, right? Mm-hmm. And he's so close. And like you said, Dame time, he's going to turn it on. Luka, I just feel that he has to find a way to get Kyrie in. They're probably down there saying, hey, can we steal a championship this year? Can we get into the playoffs and disrupt? So with that being said, now he has to facilitate a little bit more. He has to pass the ball a little bit more. So I can see him being affected by that. And then Joel Embiid is going to continue to do what he's doing. But I just think Dame is just about to go on this tear right now. He just dropped 71. He's feeling good, right? He's seeing that it's so close. He's going to go get it done. Dame is going to make a statement down the stretch.
I think down the stretch is going to be key because if you look at the Philadelphia 76ers right now, they're sitting at third. Eventually, Embiid's going to be shut down close towards the end of the regular season. To get him ready for the playoffs. You also look at Dallas right now. They're sitting at 7th. If they can go ahead and make a push for top 5 or get that 6th spot from the Clippers, I think you're going to start seeing some load management for both Kyrie and Luka. Right now, Portland's in the 12th spot. So they're going to really, and they're not far out of the playoffs right now. They're only, let me look right here. I think they're about 14 games back from the top spot, but they're only 2 games back from the play-in. So I think you're going to really see Dame just go full throttle these next few games. There's only less than 20 remaining. He's going to try to get into that play-in. You're going to see some crazy high-scoring games from him for sure. And especially with the Lakers dealing with the injuries of LeBron, Anthony Davis, I think that he knows that push is more likely to happen for him. The Pelicans are still waiting for Zion to get his stuff together. So I think that Portland is going to rely on Dame, and Dame's going to, make that push to make that happen. So I definitely think the awards for him for sure.
Okay, NBA expert Ashley Nicole Moss. Golly. How long you been watching basketball?
My whole life, unfortunately.
You think you know more basketball than me?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, hey, Ashley, you had mentioned it there at the end, right? AD, LeBron, both out for the Lakers. So fact or foolish, the Lakers should throw in the towel on the season.
Foolish. You never throw in the towel when you play professional sports, okay? Quitting is for losers. But I do think you have to be realistic with your expectations. This is not a team that's going to go ahead and win a championship. This is not a team that's going to see the Western Conference Finals. This is a team that's going to be lucky to get out of the play-in, depending on who they have to match up with. And I think that you have to also, when being competitive, you still have to also think about next season. You don't want to go ahead and put yourself in a deep hole before the season even starts. So while I don't think they should take their foot off the gas, you still go out there and you compete. You try to win games because LeBron does plan on coming back. I think he's only out 2 to 3 weeks. That's what they said.
A lot of games.
2 to 3 weeks, but if they're within play-in contention, he'll be back for that. You still have to go ahead and compete in the event that LeBron's able to come back. You want to be in a situation that he wants to come back to. Yeah, it's a suck situation because AD's out too, and that's going to make this team drop, but you still go out there and you try to win games to the best of your ability.
Fact. The Lakers should throw in the towel. They should tank. It's over.
Tanking? That's egregious.
What Ashley just said is all cap. I know this segment is fact or foolish, but it's cap because, you're talking about play games. No, let's play business. Why would I go out there knowing that we have no chance this year and continue to open up or, expose LeBron James, AD to more injuries? Hell, we know AD, he walk out of his damn house, he going to get hurt. So, look, I'm going all in on next year. First, from a health standpoint, nutrition standpoint, we're going to get Kyrie. Sorry, Hollywood. We're going to get Kyrie. So now you have your big 3 to go get it done. Start focusing on next year. I don't know what's happening in the draft, how many assets they have or don't have, but it can also improve your position next year. And I know there's so many things that's involved in that. The NBA is crazy. They're trading first overall picks and number 1 draft picks from 5 years from now, 6 years from now. So I have no clue what's happening there, but it can improve your positioning for next year or the years to come. So what they should do is tank, throw in the towel, and focus on next year. LeBron, just go sit in ice right now.
As an athlete, I'm very disappointed in that take. I'm very disappointed in that take that you want them to go out there and just say, yeah, we're not going to compete today.
Let me tell you what I did as an athlete before.
Screw it.
Like I said with Lamar Jackson. The Denver Broncos was playing with the money. It wasn't the Denver Broncos. It was Josh McDaniels. And we had one more game left in the season.
I want to. You owe me money every time you say Josh McDaniels. You know how rich I'm going to be at the end of this show?
Oh, it's business, man. Yeah, the game is fun. I love catching touchdowns. I wish I was still out there. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to put that to the side and say, look, my body's on the line. So you got to make some decisions that may be uncomfortable for you or make other people uncomfortable. This isn't a regular field of business. Like, you can do this for 30, 40 years. You got to play games. The same thing in boxing. In boxing, you got Floyd Mayweather. Oh, my goodness, look how he's being strategic. He's not taking this fight and that fight. The same thing with Tank. Tank is not doing this and Tank's not doing that. Look, this dude is trying to figure out, how do I maximize my career earnings? That is the game in professional sports. All this other stuff, come on, throw it out the window. You can go play in a rec league if you just want to play for the love of the game. We're talking about maximizing our career earnings. That's the name of pro sports.
My God.
Clip that, take that, post that. Come on, Corey, we got transition.
All right. So you mentioned it at the top of the show, right? It was a big night for the Suns and KD last night, right? So he debuted, and in his first game, he dropped 23 points, went 10 for 15 from the field. But what was very impressive was that he did that in only 27 minutes. But another stat line to point out, too, Devin Booker, he had 37 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. So my question for you guys, right, fact or foolish, Devin Booker would benefit more than KD from the new look Suns?
Foolish.
Go deeper.
I think that Kevin Durant's going to benefit more than Devin Booker will. I think Kevin Durant is going to be in a situation where he does not have to do everything. I think if you look at the Nets, whenever Kyrie was playing, it was a great time for Kevin Durant because you weren't solely relying on him to score. But in a lot of those times, remember, Kyrie and Kevin Durant only had a certain amount of games that they played together. So when you talk about playing with a Devin Booker, who Kevin Durant has already come out and said, it's great to play with someone who loves the game like Devin Booker, who's dedicated to the game like Devin Booker. It's great to go ahead and not have to rely solely on your own skill set to win games. I think they're going to be a great tandem together, and it's going to be beneficial to Kevin Durant's health and longevity in this league and in his career to play with someone like Devin Booker, who's starting to approach his prime, in the very beginning of his prime, who's going to be able to do what he's able to do night in and night out and not have to put so much usage on Kevin Durant. And you're going to see a fresher, healthier version of him in the playoffs. You're going to see a fresher, healthy version of him come next season. And if they can keep them together and also all the other role players around them, it is going to be beneficial to Kevin Durant's career as a whole.
Yeah, so the question again, can we throw the question up there? Pretty please. There we go. Devin Booker will benefit more than KD from the new look Suns. Fact or foolish? Devin Booker will benefit more. See, I'm a slow blinker. I'm going to say here, Ashley and Corey from the cut, foolish. I think KD benefits more. I think KD benefits more because he's aging. He's older. Devin Booker.
You're just going to steal my point?
Huh?
You're just going to steal my point?
Oh, yeah, damn. that might be right. But I'm coming from a different space, though, with it. And I'm saying that because just 2 years ago, they would have won. Right?
If Chris Paul didn't get hurt?
Right.
Okay.
Like Devin Booker, man, did he not look like Kobe out there?
Yeah, that mid-range.
It was like how he was scoring the ball. It was like from anywhere, everywhere, off this foot, that foot. Like the dude was dynamic. So like he's in line, okay, in the right situation to go get it done. So I think that obviously stealing your point, taking more of your point, KD, you're like, look, he needs him more than Devin needs him. So, fact. Foolish.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right. Last one, guys. Giannis will win 3 NBA titles by the end of his career. Fact or foolish?
Foolish. Giannis will not win 3 NBA titles. We talked about it just a few segments ago or a few minutes ago, the parity in the NBA, the parity in just pro sports today, right? Like any team can win it. Ashley, you said, I think a day or two ago, highlighting all the other NBA teams that are just coming out of nowhere having successful seasons. So I like Giannis, but it's just going to be tough for him to win 2 more. And don't forget, what Giannis is in, year 10, I believe? He's getting older.
10? No. Isn't it year, someone fact check it. Isn't it 6? 5, 6? It's not 10. There's no way it's 10.
I don't know.
I'm not that old.
Fact or foolish?
I'm going to go fact.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Dang, how old am I?
Can I get a 2? Can I get a 2 shot right now? Can
how old am I?
Because that was like some awkward time. Give me a 2. Give me a 2 shot right now.
Time is flying. Jesus. I'm gonna go. I'm on the fence. I don't think he wins 3, and I don't think he wins 2 more. He already has 1. I don't think he wins 2 more in Milwaukee. I think if he's willing to go elsewhere and team up with somebody else, i.e. LeBron and the big 3, or I think it's feasible. I don't know if he wins another one in Milwaukee with the way that this team is currently constructed. You can make an argument that his best chance to win another one is this season. Right now, they're at the top of the standings in the Eastern Conference. They've won 15, 16 games in a row. If they can go ahead and keep that if they can keep that trajectory, there's a good chance that this may be the year he can get it done. But Chris Middleton, that's something that is concerning. I don't even know how that was lucky. I don't
pull that one off. Even to win that one, hell, it was a toenail away from not being in. And how you gonna go out there and make fun of KD? Man, you got lucky that year.
It was a joke. He didn't even write it.
I know, but still though, man. The basketball gods was all over him, man.
I'll say this. I think Giannis can win 2 more in the NBA in his career, but I don't think it's going to happen in Milwaukee. He's going to have to go elsewhere unless Milwaukee does a full-blown rehaul and brings every amount of talent possible to the Bucks for him. He's going to have to go elsewhere to win another one. His best chance to do it again is this year.
Well, he had an opportunity to leave Milwaukee, and one of the reasons why he didn't leave Milwaukee is because he's a lot like Dame Lillard. He lives and stand on principle.
But he has said before.
Said is, I'm not doing that. And yeah, it's a joke. But look, there's a lot of truth in jokes, right? Oh, KD, let me show you how to build your own team. You can't go out there and say something like that and then say, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, I'm going to go over here to L.A. or I'm going to go over here to Dallas and play with Luka so I can get me another championship. I think this dude is having fun. I think he's fulfilled. And like your boy, what did Joker say?
I am not meant for this game. No, but I will say this. I think that Giannis did say all those things true, but he has also said in various instances when they've asked him about his forever in Milwaukee, he has been honest and said, I don't know if it's forever. It's right now. So he's won there. He's shown that he was loyal, and he's shown that he was going to bring a championship to Milwaukee like he promised. He did that. He made good on his promise. But he has also said, I don't know if it's forever.
Well, that's good.
So I don't know if it's forever. So we'll say that.
I'm not for this game. What did he say?
No, Jokic said they asked him in the NBA if he cared about getting drafted in the All-Star game. He said, I would not draft myself either. I am not meant for this game.
Listen, shout out to Celsius, one of our partners, giving us, just a great platform, a brand to work off of to keep our show going. When you bet on yourself, it takes a whole lot to get things going and keep things going. So thank you, Celsius. And I had a lot of energy today.
You drank all that already?
I drank it all, but it was like, and thank you guys. Every day the numbers are going up. It's not about the numbers. It's about the content and us doing what we love, what we're passionate about. But keep rocking with us. Keep coming back. We have a lot in store for you. We'll continue to grow into this show. We'll continue to work through some of the difficulties that you have and any network may have launching something new, right? So this is new for us, streaming live Monday through Thursday right here on YouTube. Continue to jump in the chat, give us your feedbacks. One of the things that we don't want to deal with is jerks and trolls. because we're trolls and jerks ourselves sometimes. No, I'm just messing around. If you want to be a jerk and a troll, you can be a jerk and a troll and continue to come back. We love you and we appreciate y'all. Until next time, peace.